Morning.
Good morning to you. I know you like that cut, cap, and balance idea. Is there any chance it would ever see the light of day in the Senate? And is that what America needs? I know in your view, well, you see it favorably, don't you?
Well, you know, I can't vote for any raise in the debt ceiling unless we have a balanced budget amendment of the Constitution. No one up here really has shown themselves to be trustworthy. Year after year, we have plans, we have rules that say they're supposed to have pay-as-you-go or Graham-Rudman-Hollings, and it just goes on and on. They break their rules. So I think we need stricter rules, and I can only vote to raise the debt ceiling if we get a balanced budget amendment. It's passed in the House. I'm excited about it. We're probably going to have a vote on it on Saturday. It's the only legislative proposal out there at this point.
Well, do you believe the deadline of August 2nd? I mean, do we go off the cliff that day if we don't have a deal? What do you think?
No, I think the president really should apologize, to tell you the truth. He should take default off the table, and he could do it at any point in time by simply saying he will continue to pay the interest on the debt. We bring in $200 billion a month, and our interest payment's about $20 billion. Why would we ever default? We have plenty of money to pay our Social Security recipients. We have plenty of money to pay our soldiers' salaries. In fact, we have legislation that tells the president, you must do this by law. So he's disingenuous, and he is scaring the nation by doing this. He could immediately take it all off the table.
You think he's scaring the country? It's
Absolutely.
a pretty hard charge.
Absolutely. There is no reason for us to default. There's no reason for a deadline. We bring in $200 billion a month. There is absolutely no reason to ever default. Now, what would happen is we would have to come to grips with that our budget, or what we spend, only 70% of our tax revenue covers it. It covers plenty for interest payments, plenty for Social Security, plenty for soldiers' salaries, but there's about 30% of government that's unfunded and that we borrow from China. That's what's unsustainable. And if the president wants to have a debate over whether or not a balanced budget is a good idea, let him bring it on. I mean, if the president thinks the balanced budget's a bad idea, let's have a national debate over that.
Okay, now, all this is all good and well to debate this. But at some point, you're going to have to find something that can pass. Not just through the Senate, but also through the House, where you have 87 House Republican freshmen. And they have voted in lockstep since they were elected in that midterm back in 2010. And many of them, frankly, aren't budging like you are on the debt ceiling, short of this balanced budget amendment. Now, all this to the side, Republican, Democrat, or President Obama, what do you think can get through this Congress today that will be signed by the White House?
Well, I think there are compromises that could be made. For example, we as Republicans have to acknowledge that every dollar spent on the military is not wisely spent or sacred, and there is waste and problems in the military budget, and we've doubled the military budget in the last 10 years. But the liberals would have to acknowledge that every dollar spent for social welfare, every dollar in the entitlement programs is not wisely spent, and they will have to be reformed. The other compromise that I think could occur is the Democrats are big on saying the rich need to pay their fair share. Well, if they're honest, the rich are paying plenty of taxes. We have a progressive tax code. But if they insist that the rich pay more, I'm happy to have the rich pay more for their benefits. I'm happy to have the rich pay the full price of their Medicare, and I'm happy for the rich to get less Social Security money. There are compromises, but the Democrats have demagogued this and made it where they accuse Republicans of wanting to push grandma off a cliff. That doesn't further the debate. That just demagogues the issue. And then the president politicizes this by saying, oh, Republicans will stop sending Social Security checks out. It's actually the opposite. We're directing him by law to pay the Social Security debts and to honor his obligations to senior citizens.
Yeah, now, I understand the argument on the military and the entitlements, but the tax issue, again, help clarify that for us and our audience here now. When it comes to raising more revenue or trying to figure out a way, whether it's the right pocket or the left pocket, what would be your idea, Senator?
Well, there's also a compromise that we could achieve on that. I'm for eliminating some of the deductions and loopholes as long as we lower overall rates. I don't want to increase taxes. I think that's bad for the economy, and we will lose jobs if we increase taxes. But I think when you lower rates and simplify the tax code, When Reagan brought the rates down to 28%, we had growth of 6% in 1 year. Right now, under this weak economy, everything is worse under this president. We have less than 2% growth, and that's why there's little tax revenue coming in, because we're in the midst of a recession.
I apologize for the interruption, but that's also a reason why some Republicans have run to this plan that's been talked about among the Gang of Six. That appears to be part of their revenue stream here. Senator, it's great to have you on. I look forward to talking to you again very soon, because we got to get out of this corner, and I'm not quite sure how it goes. But thank you for your time and your ideas today. All right, Rand Paul, Republican out of Kentucky. While he was talking, the markets were moving on Wall Street. Check out